This video is going to have a look at adding in a line of best fit into a scatter plot by drawing the line manually. So a line of best fit is a line that can go through a scatter plot when there is a linear relationship, and the line that we add in represents what that linear relationship is going to be. So the line, when we add it in, should be going through the middle of the points on the scatter plot. Now the line can then be used to be able to make predictions based on values within our data set. So when we're doing lines of best fit, we can work them out using a formula, or we can draw them in using our eyesight. When we're drawing them by eye, the aim is to have the same number of points above and below the line. So that's really important. We want our line to be going through the middle of the data set. So when we're finished, we should have roughly the same amount of points above and below the line. So having a look, we've got our linear line going up through the middle of our data set, and we can see that roughly we've got the same amount of points above and below the line. That is what we want our lines of best fit to be when we're drawing them in by hand. So let's have a look at an example of how can we add in a line of best fit into a scatter plot. So we've got our example from our scatter plot construction video based on the number of shirts sold by Mary, given the price they sell for. So we can go ahead and we can add in our line of best fit. And when we do that, we want to make sure that it's going through the middle of our data set. And our data set is sloping downwards. So it is going to be a negative line that we're going to be adding in. And when we are adding in our line, we're just positioning our ruler to be able to go through where we think will be in the middle of the data set. So once we have that in place, we can go ahead and we can add in our line, and then we can assess whether we do have the same number of points above and below the line. If we don't, we can go ahead and have another go by just erasing our line that we draw in. So probably best to be drawing these in pencil when you're adding them into your scatter plots. So I've gone ahead and I've added in the line, and we can go and have a look and see that roughly I've got the same amount of points above and below the line. So my line of best fit is a fair representation of where the middle of our data set, or where our linear relationship, is going to be. Now, because this is being done by eye and we're not using any formula to be able to determine what that line of best fit is going to be, the line of best fit between the same scatter plot, with the line being done by different people, will slightly be different. There is no one correct answer, but they should all be fairly similar and should all have this points above and below the line. So let's have a look at a second example of adding in a line of best fit. In this example, we've got our second data set from our constructing scatterplot video, and we've got our scatterplot here that we want to add in a line of best fit. So this time our data is pointing upwards, so it is going to be a positive line of best fit that we are going to be adding in, and we're going to follow the same process. You want to grab your ruler and position your ruler so you think you're going to be somewhere in the middle of your points. And then once you've got that location, you want to go ahead and add in your line to be able to see whether you do have it in the middle and have roughly the same number of points above and below the line. So here with my line, we can see we've got 3 above, 3 below, and they're quite evenly paced. So we are going to say that that is going to be our line of best fit for our data showing the monthly cost of internet at a cafe based on hours used. So that's a couple of examples of how do we add in a line of best fit into a scatter plot to be able to draw in the linear relationship that is present. Obviously, if there's no relationship in the scatter plot, then we cannot add in our line of best fit.